Hi everybody, Donna Salazar here for Gel Press. Today I'm going to show you how I had to work through my art funk. I didn't like anything that I was doing and I wanted to throw in the towel, but sometimes if you just keep going, magic will happen. Or sometimes if you keep going, you get something that's passable. But I ended up really liking the project I made. I made these cute little note cards for my daughter for Pride Month, and I'm going to show you my process and some, but not all of the mistakes that I made, and hopefully you'll laugh along with me. So I'm using a Joggles acrylic plate mount for my gel plate, which is totally fine, and I loved it. However, because I was filming and because of the time of day it was, you can see everything reflected in it. So that's mistake number one. Then I decided to use rope, which soaked up way too much paint and the colors weren't drying at the same time and it was just a hot mess. Mistake number two. Then I didn't let the yellow paint dry and I put the white paint on to pull the paint up, so it kind of smeared the yellow all over the place, so this print doesn't come out well. And then I tried to put more paint on to see if I could salvage it, and when I pulled this print up, this print also does not come out well. Just kind of looks a hot mess, and there was really nothing left on the plate, so I had to pull a third print, and this one has pretty much just nothing on it. This last time I'm just cleaning the plate off, so I'm going to give myself a break and I won't call it a mistake. Then I had the idea of putting a napkin that was my inspiration underneath the plate and using that as a template. That actually worked well. However, after I put the paint on, I didn't have enough patience and I thought, oh, well, let me just tap a paper over it to kind of dry it. Then when I put the white paint over, there was really no paint there. And so it ended up looking like a hot mess again. Then I realized I'm doing this for Pride Month, and the colors for By Pride is pink, purple, and blue. So this time I'm actually using the right colors, and I let it dry, and I put a really thin coat on, so it was going to be great. And then I added an impressible, which was silly if I'm putting it on white paper because you're not going to be able to see the design. Even though the print is cute, it's still a silly mistake. So now's when I finally figured out what I was doing. I'm going to print it on craft. I moved the napkin down so it's going to be a little bit shorter and it'll fit onto the card. I'm using all of the right colors and I'm going to let it dry. Once it was dry, I put a nice thin layer of white paint on, and I used my craft cardstock, and the print came out super cute. Now I got serious. I cleaned off the acrylic mount, I got a new 6x6 plate out, and I'm going to do this right. I'm using all the right colors, and I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to put a thin layer of paint on, and I'm going to use the craft paper, and oh my goodness, here is another good print. All right, I'm on a roll. So I'm using the cleaner plate, I'm using all the right colors. Again, I'm going to let them dry, and then I will use a thin layer of white paint to pull up the print when I'm done. And then I'm going to have another decent looking card. Amazing. But we're not out of the woods. Another mistake was made. I tried to do the same thing on an ivory card. This print is going to look terrible. What was I thinking? Even my pen choices were correct. The first one I tried wouldn't even work. Now I'm using a pen from Talens, and I know I'm going to butcher this name, but think it's Bruynzeel. Anyway, it's working beautifully. And so I'm going to use that to outline all the 3 colors just to make them pop a little bit more and give them a little bit more of a girly grunge kind of a vibe. I have a whole bunch of journal words that I have stamped onto these little strips, and so I picked the ones that I liked and I adhered them to all of the cards. Then I used a Stabilo All Pencil to do some shading around the individual journal strips. And then I grabbed a paintbrush and some water and was kind of blending it and got a little bit carried away. I'm not going to count it as a mistake because it still ends up looking kind of girly grunge-ish. And I was pretty happy with the way that it eventually all of the strips ended up looking. I was able to use the impressible that I wanted to use earlier to make the prints on the envelopes. The envelopes were made using an envelope template and some grocery bags. I have a whole stack of these and I love using them for envelopes for my cards. And I was able to make 3 of them very quickly. And then this is the last one. And I just keep grabbing the colors off the side plate. I like how it looks all kind of grungy and girly. And then once they dried, I just glued the sides together after folding them in. And then I just put all of the cards inside the envelopes. It's really hard to mess that part up. And this is what they looked like when they were done. I was pretty happy. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.